everybody, and happy Sunday. Welcome back to my podcast, The Good, the Bad, and the Future of Social Media, where we focus on the world of Instagram, its advantages, disadvantages, and how the future of brands can be shaped around it. My idea is to design and implement a platform that will provide all listeners with an opportunity to become better educated on how, in our daily lives, social media can control and influence our actions. Today we are talking about professionals within the fashion industry and where social media is headed. We are joined in the studio today with Rapford's social media manager, Marissa Payne. I hope you had an amazing week. Let's get into it. So how are you, Marissa?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. It's not the best weather outside today, but we're still here. So I kind of have asked all my guests just in the beginning what their personal thoughts are on social media, and to kind of maybe just give a brief bio of who you are. I know I kind of mentioned you're also the social media manager of Rapford, which is a cruelty-free and vegan beauty products. So maybe just give a little bit of a kind of resume of what you do and what the brand kind of is.
Yeah. So I sort of fell into the role at Radford. I've been working with the brand for 5 years. And with the evolution of the brand, our roles also evolved. Mm-hmm. So I began working with Radford as a makeup artist and evolved into becoming a brand ambassador. And now, as we expanded, I work with a very small team on the creative direction, marketing, product formula expansions, and we all wear very many hats. So it's very exciting.
You know a lot in that industry, just like from all the roles that you've had. So that's
for sure.
Incredible. So how did you kind of see yourself ever wanting to be in like the social media kind of world and working for that? Or was it more so you just kind of fell into place?
I definitely fell into the role. I don't think I ever saw myself not in it, but particularly social media wasn't too much on my horizon. I was more interested in working in the beauty and fashion space, whether that entailed as a makeup artist, writing, working for a magazine. I wasn't sure, but I knew I wanted to be somewhere involved in that space.
Yep. And what is exactly like your role with the company?
I am social media manager by title.
Okay.
Again, we have a very small team, so we're very blessed to work with each other and expand off each other. I also run our customer experience line at Radford. I also help manufacture and package our products as well.
Okay, yeah.
So very hands-on.
From start to finish?
From start to finish. Everything is very much a team process, and it's very cool to work for a brand.
So you must be really close with everyone on your team too.
Yes, definitely.
Which is probably comforting too.
Very comforting.
And what is your kind of overall thoughts on social media? Obviously you do it every day. Do you feel it's so draining or it's so positive you can reach all those larger audiences? What is your kind of overall opinion?
I think it's sort of in the middle of the spectrum. I think most people can have a love-hate relationship with it. It is my job. Yeah. So I love that aspect of it, and I love connecting with people. But I do also sometimes get a little bit of
overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think having so many Instagram accounts on your Instagram and on your phone. Yeah. There's so many. There's always something. There's always an email coming in, a direct
notification
message, a notification of any sort. So
overwhelming is yet to say the least.
Overwhelming.
I didn't even think about, you probably have so many that you have to check up on all the time, and even being like just someone that uses it all the time, and I post so many stories myself, like getting all those messages, even if it's not too many, but still people flooding into your DMs and having likes if you post a picture, it is like, oh my gosh, you have to be on it and you have to consistently be answering people. And if it's for numerous accounts, like I can't even imagine. You're probably quickly trying to get everyone
Definitely. It's definitely overstimulating. Some weekends I definitely have like a no phone weekend. I still have to check up on the brand account. I mean, as a social media manager, your job's 24/7, 7 days a week. So.
Yeah, that's crazy. You get no off time because people on Sundays are checking your brand thinking, okay, maybe I'll just buy something here and there, and you asking a question and that's on you. You gotta, So do you run the whole, like you answer the DMs, you answer comments and everything? Okay, so you're all of it. Wow, that's probably a lot of work.
It is a lot, and also in conjunction with other responsibilities, but I definitely wouldn't trade it. So.
Yeah. you mastered your craft and you're
I would like to say so. Hopefully soon.
No, you definitely have. But how do you, there's so much out there I remember I was looking for hashtags and stuff and what's trending and all those kind of things because I want to make myself bigger. How do you stay on top of all of the things and algorithms that you need to have to reach wider audiences or hit different kind of people that you want to hit or be able to promote yourself at the best ability of the brand? How do you find that out?
That's a great question. I think like with social media, everything's always changing. So
rapidly, yeah.
Every day. So even if you plan a month in advance, that's going to change. So I think mixing your media outlets, not fixating on one outlet, listen to podcasts, go on TikTok, watch case studies, read books, mixing all of those different outlets. And I think that it's really easy to keep up on trends and sort of flowing with this.
We went from Instagram and having just pictures that you had to post to now there's reels to TikTok being the biggest platform ever, which is crazy. Literally, I only got it during the pandemic.
YouTube used to be the biggest platform.
YouTube used to be the biggest, and it's still huge, but it's just you have to keep up on, like you said, podcasts, videos, reading. Like if you're in this social media world, you got to be doing it all. And everyone should be in the social media world because that's where people find you. That's how people know you. That's how you can kind of check up on your friends and family and brand and things that you want to follow. So it's like crazy how many platforms you have to hit, especially if you're a beauty brand, because you want to get everyone.
Absolutely, yeah.
So more so on the content creation and everything side of it, how do you find who fits and who you want to work with promoting or like content creators for the brand? How do you kind of navigate through that?
I think the first thing I look for is authenticity. Radford celebrates inclusivity, diversity, just being your authentic self. We're all about real beauty, real people, and I think that anyone we collaborate with definitely has to embody that.
And so pure because it's such clean products. You're cruelty free, you're vegan. Like it's obviously probably takes so much work to make these products. You want them to be so authentic and very much love the product because that's how people will be able to tell. And like you can tell when someone's posting something that isn't their favorite product and you can tell when they actually use it.
Exactly.
So how is your guys' like, how many influencers do you guys have? How many do you work with? Do you have certain expectations? I know you do the monthly content from creators. Can you kind of explain more about that?
So because we are a startup brand, we don't have huge budgets all the time, especially for influencers.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough to curate a community, which we really love, called the Pretty Rad Club, which is on a month-to-month basis.
Yeah.
It's sort of a gifted partnership. So just sort of talking with that community and conversing every day, it's really inspiring. I would say that's one of my favorite parts of my job.
And probably so nice to see what people come up with, like with the products too, because there's so much you can do with beauty and people create so many different things and you're just there being like, wow, I didn't even think of that. That's a great one. It's not like you guys have so many rules. With some brands, they're like, you have to do this, you have to have this, you can't do this.
Yeah. You
guys are you just want people to show that they care and like the product. And I love that. Even if you quickly do a quick scroll from the Radford's Instagram, it's so aesthetically pleasing and you can fully tell that people want to be posting this stuff because it is great product. I can say that from me because I use it. So I love it and that's amazing. But do you see, like, where do you kind of see the whole social media and stuff going in the next 5 years? Like, if it's changed so much already? Because where did Radford launch? Was it Instagram or was it Facebook?
It was technically, actually, I think it was YouTube.
Okay.
So I think it went YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
Okay.
In 5 years, it's so funny because we kind of transitioned to this short, concise digital content that we're seeing now on TikTok. I think
the 7 seconds thing,
I think that history may repeat itself. I think that long form content is going to return. So I think YouTube may make a comeback soon.
I hope so. I love TikTok and kind of watching those 7 seconds, but like man, I'm on there for too long, and I'm like, okay, I want to watch someone's, and I feel like it's honestly sometimes it's great and very informative, but sometimes it's like, okay, I just wasted an hour of my day going through these random 7-second things that I didn't learn enough off of. Whereas I'm so much so I go on YouTube or podcasts, and I love listening to what people have to say, or they're take me through a day in your life. And I guess there are little snippets on TikTok, but you learn so much from like a full 20-minute video on YouTube. So
you do. Definitely. Long form content, I think, is going to have a comeback.
I hope so. Do you have a YouTube account too as well?
We do, yes.
So what kind of stuff do you put on that?
So our YouTube account is more of our creators and our founders side. So Victoria has her own YouTube. She's doing it solo right now. Okay. So it's very exciting. So she is a whiz at long form content.
I love that.
Once you get her talking, it's amazing. The stuff that comes out of her mouth, she's so knowledgeable. So we definitely think that long form content is her thing. So that's what she's been doing right now, and it's really amazing.
I really do hope it kind of goes back to that, because I feel like that's what I love.
Yeah.
So I know that TikTok, I don't think or see it ending anytime soon, and I still will love it and I'll still use it. But I really would appreciate if long form content came back for sure. And so you said Victoria, so there's different people in different sections of your management, and you're doing the whole social media. Is there any other kind of, because you said she's on YouTube, is there any other person in the whole social media aspect of it, or is it just?
We have editors that come in and out. We have one of my very good friends, Francesca, is a very good video editor. Okay. So we have her doing editing a lot of the YouTube. For social media, it's myself. We also have a creative director named Amanda, so I work very closely with her. Okay. Because
it does go hand in hand, right?
It does, for sure. So she is definitely a great help, and I'm learning a lot from her. She has lots of experience.
And it's nice that you have someone that you can probably go back and forth with too, especially with social media being so much like work and tedious, that you have someone that you can just be like, okay, help me out with this, or that gets the whole creative juices flowing.
Yeah, I love talking with her. She's amazing.
And bounce ideas off each other and do all that. So how do you kind of know what your like audience wants to see then with content and everything on all your platforms? Like, do you listen to what they kind of say and take from it, and like you're like, okay, we need more of this, or we need more of this, this content isn't doing as well, so let's drop this. Do you guys ever kind of listen to what your audience is saying and asking from you?
Absolutely. I think we are very in tune with our community and our customers, and I think that that's really important as a beauty brand. You know, you want to listen to your buyers, especially for a direct-to-consumer company. That being said, in terms of talking with our Pretty Rad community, I like to keep things pretty open. I like to hear their ideas. Yeah. I don't want me forcing, them to say stuff in videos. I want it to be very authentic. So I think that's where my job as a social media manager comes in, is to make sure that things are coming off authentic. And I think that's important.
And because I've worked with brands for a few years now, just here and there, different types that I kind of stand for. And it's crazy to see some brands, how much they ask upon influencers or content creators for the brands, and other brands, how much they leave it to be authentic and stuff. And sometimes it's like almost draining having to make sure that you hit like,
you have to it has to be
from this angle. Yeah. The caption has to be this, this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot to take in. And it, I guess, does kind of take away the creativity and authenticity from it.
Definitely.
Maybe not to some people, but at least to me, it's like, oh, I don't want to do it as much if I have all these rules and do's and don'ts, which is totally respectable when it's like, okay, don't show other brands in your stuff or this or that, because you're making it purely for these people. But sometimes there's nitpicky things that you wouldn't even think. You're like, wait, why do you not want, like, why do you care about that? And it definitely, I think, at least takes away from the authenticity.
I agree. So. I think it's more of a stronger, authentic relationship when you're conversing with a customer, an influencer, and it's coming from the heart. People recognize that as well. I think it translates over.
Yeah. And it's like, if someone's going to ask, if I posted on my Instagram and someone asked me about it, I want to be able to give you my full and honest opinion. And if you see in the post, I'm not, and like, I don't.
Yeah, you can tell.
100%. And it's crazy how many, I love fashion. I'm following so many influencers just because I want to see what they're doing, like their content and stuff, because I'm mesmerized by it. But I can even tell with people that are doing like these huge brands, I'm like, okay, that's not exactly the type that she normally posts with it. It's not really hitting the same as the rest of her stuff does.
They always say you can hear an ad before you see it.
You can, absolutely. So how has I just wanted to ask this because I feel like it definitely has maybe changed a little bit. How has COVID-19 kind of affected the brand as well? At all? Because I know e-commerce, did it help or did it?
It did help. I would say from an e-commerce standpoint, it was a boost.
Okay.
I think a lot of things over
Which
COVID, we love that. Yeah. A lot of things transitioned over COVID to be online. And direct-to-consumer companies were given a huge chance to make it in the e-commerce world. So,
did you find it a little bit more competitive, or you've had to do certain things like TikTok and more so social media, or how?
Yes, I think at the beginning, because the world had halted, we tried to make an impact on each platform. And that's not always the best way to go about things, but it was a trial and error process. And I think that overall COVID was a positive thing, and I'm definitely grateful for my career during COVID because it helped me evolve with the company.
And I feel like I still wore makeup and did all my beauty things when I was in COVID. So I think probably a lot of people did, just to keep yourself sane sometimes too. And also it's so zen having my favorite product ever from Radford is the eye patches and face mask.
Oh, I love that. Best.
I am literally like, I've never had eye patches and a face mask that have left me glowing. Like I feel so good and replenished after it. So I would do those every single time.
Little secret about those, which we don't talk about enough. They were actually made for burn victims. So they are incredibly anti-inflammatory and soothing and hydrating. So if you ever have a breakout, put that on. It'll suck it up.
Interesting. Okay. So for burn victims, how would it kind of have helped?
It's more of the hydrogel aspect, so it's very replenishing. It's also self-cooling, so there is that soothing aspect to it. But there is, they're all vegan, cruelty-free, clean ingredients, so there's nothing that's going to irritate the skin.
And I have sensitive skin, very sensitive skin,
I do as well.
And I've never had a problem with any of the products. And I feel like even during COVID-19 and stuff, I took a step back and I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I'm being more sustainable, having better and cleaner products, which is so amazing because when I heard about the whole collaboration, I was like, no, this is perfect. This is what I want to start doing. Like I want to get into being vegan with the products. I want cruelty free. I want all of these great aspects that are out there, but most of the time you don't think about. But when it's in front of you and you're actually paying attention to stuff, and it really does make a difference of how you even feel about the product and how it feels on you. Like when you start getting into that and respecting those kind of aspects in a product, you can tell
it's life-changing.
It is life-changing. So we kind of talked about the whole inclusion that you guys stand for, sustainable, being pure. Do you kind of make sure you work with people that are very inclusive in those things too, with the creators and stuff that you work with?
Yeah, we try to. Everyone that whether we come across with, work with, I think it's, again, important just to speak to the authenticity of that person and our relationship. So I think that if somebody stands for what we stand for, we are totally open to that, but we're also open to expanding, evolving with everyone else. So no closed doors.
Yeah. And do you use, because I know you asked for photos and videos from your content creators, do you use all of that kind of stuff for both platforms and everything? Like,
yeah, for sure.
TikTok as well?
I have a couple TikTok creators that I do usually put their content on TikTok. Yeah. However, I've been loving to mix and mix different platforms. Yeah. So I love putting TikToks in the stories on Instagram. So that's definitely, we want to get more into that as well. I think we're going to start our TikTok journey shortly.
Okay, yeah. So that's your kind of one of your short-term goals too?
Yes. Yes.
Because it really does make a difference. Like so many people, and it's a whole nother world. Like so many people that wouldn't even find you. Crazy. Would find you from TikTok that are all around the world. Like you need one video to make you go viral, and it's like incredible how your audience can just expand.
It's insane. We had one again, we don't have a very lively, active TikTok channel, but during COVID, when we were experimenting on different platforms, we were outside, and me and my teammate at the time had Glow Power Primer in our hand, which is like an amazing primer. It's illuminating. She put it on my cheek in the sun. We filmed it. It was a 5-second clip, and it got over 1 million views.
I saw that. Yeah. It was like 1.1 million views. I'm like, oh my gosh.
We filmed it just randomly in the street, and it just...
I feel like those are the ones the meaningless ones that you don't even think about and you put not that much time into.
Zero effort. I was like...
Can people tell? Or
I know. I was like, oh my goodness, this video.
Yeah. That's amazing. So the TikTok journey is started, it's gonna...
It's beginning, yeah.
What other are kind of your short-term goals in the whole social media aspects of your Radford brand?
We are wanting to get a little bit more involved in the Pinterest space.
Okay.
We've seen a lot of local Toronto brands in that space, and they're doing an amazing job. So kudos to them.
By that, you mean posting your content on there?
Yeah. So I don't know how many people still go on Pinterest. For brands,
I'm on it every day.
I am as well. It's a huge space for brands and for inspiration. So
it is. Like, I think I go on Pinterest before I get ready every single time. Like, I find I'll make boards for anything. I'll be going on a trip, and I'll make my little board for the trip, or I'll be going out on a Friday night, and I'll be like, there's my little going out board.
Going out board.
People are like, oh, I don't know what to wear. I don't know how to put an outfit together. I don't know this. I don't know that. I'm like, have a Pinterest, anybody, and put things in different albums and stuff that you're inspired to. Like, even for content that I take for brands, I have boards on my Pinterest that I'm just like, oh, that would work great for the brand. Like, I should try to recreate that. And like, and it really does help. It saves you so much time. You just go onto the board and you're like, oh yeah, that's the one. Because you have certain pieces in your closet, or you don't have to copy anything or anybody's post, but you can recreate it in an inspired, like you said, way. Yeah, Pinterest is crazy. So would you guys just promote it as in like ads and stuff too, or just post and have it tagged? Isn't that?
Yeah. So we also have ads. You can boost the content you're posting and make them into ads. So we're doing that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that will very much help too if you hit every platform. Why not if you can? And you'll hit all the audiences you can. So I wish you guys luck on that. I think that will be very well. So do you have any kind of, I know getting into social media isn't really talked about as much as, at least I think, as other things too, because obviously you can go out to school and you can take teacher's college or a degree in a certain thing, and it's kind of set up for you. I think social media isn't that much of a paved path right away. How would you tell people if they're like, you know what, I do kind of want to get into that social media industry? What would you kind of recommend they use as their steps into getting there themselves?
Networking.
And by that, you kind of mean?
Yeah, like whether it's meeting people or sending a message to someone that you admire or you want to work with. I think we're so lucky. We have networking at our fingertips right now. It's so easy to meet people and to keep going and ask for advice. Like, send a DM, be like, hey, I love what you're doing. Can you teach me, or do you have time to talk to me? A coffee chat.
Use what's out there, because on my podcast, one of the guests, she said that she used to, before it was even a thing, follow people that she like idolized and were starting up businesses too. And I was like, oh my gosh, like we do that all the time now. And yeah, some people might not shoot back a message or whatever, but why the heck not try? It's at your fingertips. Like, you can send a message in 3 seconds, and if they do get back to you, you can learn so much from someone. Even if so many influencers and stuff that I follow are doing their behind the scenes on shoots and what goes into creating these ads and things like that. Like, you can really learn a lot on social media, and especially if you want to get into something, why not just ask the question?
You can. I think that's so interesting, the behind the scenes aspect. I love that stuff as well.
I love it.
I love watching that over curated content any day. And I know a lot of people do too. And I think that we're paving the way of kind of letting other people in on those little trade industry secrets.
And if someone really likes the brand, they're gonna really want to see the behind the scenes, because it makes you feel closer to the brands or the creators or whatever it is, so much more than just seeing that final product.
I agree. It's so important to help other people and get them to where you are where they want to be.
And even if it isn't for a brand and it's not behind the scenes of a huge project, you could even do your little mini vlogs. Like those are going insane too. Like people's morning routines and stuff. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh crap, I should be waking up earlier. But sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to implement that in my day because that looks great. Like I'll probably wake up, like I did the whole drink lemon water in the morning, and I'm like, okay, this is weird in the beginning. Like I'm not a morning person, and it's actually helping. So taking things from people or brands or whatever and inspiration and just implementing some of those things into your life really does help. And it's so like there's so many versions of people's behind the scenes or people's day in the life. Like it's literally at our fingertips. Like
I love it. I know. I think it's so inspiring.
Do you think that you guys will add in any behind the scenes? Or
I do have like lots of content that I've created just based off, you know, photo shoots, or there is definitely a fine line of, I'm trying to think of how to word this.
Like what you can and can't put out?
Yeah, not for any reasons of giving away too much, by no means anything like that, but just, you know, you working with different contractors or photographers, just making sure that their privacy is respected.
Everyone's okay with it.
So there is a fine line between that, but I definitely think every brand can profit by doing behind the scenes and just being relatable.
Relatable, that's the biggest thing. Like I was talking with another guest on my podcast, and he was like, people want to see your authentic self. And for a brand too, people like, when I fall in love with a brand, I want to see everything that they're doing. I get so excited. They're like, coming soon. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's coming soon? Like, what do you have next for us? Like and people do get so excited about that. I'm sure it's not just me, but even having those like little things and knowing what was even put into making those new products and stuff like that is so intriguing, and it makes you respect the whole brand more, makes you so much more in love with it. So I think a lot of people would like that too. Would you ever think of like kind of having people do behind the scenes, even of like creating content and stuff, or giving them a bit?
Like that would be great. I think anything at this point in our lives is content, and we're blessed that we're in that position. It's no longer the curated content that people are striving for. It's more of the authentic, behind the scenes, get ready with me, my morning routine. Like people want to see
every day too. Like they want to see it every day. Do you guys make sure that you post on like all platforms and stuff? Do you have like a schedule for that, or what's
We do. So we try to, you know, stay consistent, post every day. Instagram is definitely like our leading social platform.
Because you have over 5,000 followers.
We have definitely tried to grow it. It's probably only that specific brand account is only a year old. So
no way.
It's only
that's incredible.
Old. Yeah, it came into my hands when we had like 1,000 followers. So
you've helped it pop
tried to grow it with our team. Yes.
And what kind of has worked for you? Just the repetitive everyday kind of?
There's no fault in consistency. You'll never go wrong. It's also, you know, collaborating with people that make your content strong and picking people that are authentic, that are real, that help portray the brand that you want people to see.
And just in my personal opinion, like I love it when brands ask you to create content for one thing, and sometimes they don't even post it on their own social media, but when they do, it's like, oh my gosh, like they liked my creation of it. And like sometimes you don't even get feedback from people that you send it to. Like a lot of the times you do have to get approval or send your content so they have it and they can use it if they want to. But just seeing them be happy with it and hearing that from even like influencers talk to the social media manager of, normally at least, of the brands that they're working with, and having that like personal, like, oh my gosh, thank you, these are such great, like that one comment or whatever doesn't happen all the time. Like a lot of brands that I've even worked with, they're like, yep, thanks, like whatever, but because they probably have so many people they're working with.
It's so important though to tell someone, absolutely, you know, you're loving what you're doing, like
appreciating it, right?
Exactly.
And it's in a step up in the whole appreciation thing with when they post it on Instagram and you're like, oh my gosh, yes. And so, like for me, I'd always repost it or like share it, even if it's just a story or something, because you're like proud, right?
Of course,
it's like, okay, yes, that's successful. Like they liked it, and you're, at the end of the day, as even an influencer, you're creating it for that brand. So you hope that brand wants to use it, right?
Absolutely.
Do you have any tips or anything for people that are creating content? Like you're on the other side of it, of course. What are you more happy with when people are creating content for you guys too?
I would say from an sort of an outsider's perspective is to always look at the brand, see what they've already posted. Look at that. What are the poses like? Are they reels? If they are reels, what are they doing in the reels? Sort of mimic the content that
use it as inspiration.
Use it as inspiration, but also go outside the box with it. I think that, and again, it's also important to talk. If you do have any questions, I always tell every influencer I work with, if you have any questions, please ask me. Always happy to help.
So comforting.
Yeah, you don't want to make someone feel like they're in a small box when creating something.
Which can
a content
happen
creator.
Easily.
Exactly. You need space. So I think it's important to not put people in small boxes, give them a huge room and see what they create in that room.
Because that's probably where you're going to find the most different things too, because you don't want the exact same thing from all of your content creators that you're working with. You want people to be that authentic person, like you were saying, and showcase how they use it in their lives. Like, seriously, not just, okay, yep, I'm going to take a few pictures here and whatever. No, you want them to fully be so happy they're taking a picture with this product because they're going to have the biggest smile on their face or put so much more effort into it meaninglessly because they do appreciate it. So do you have any things that you would change or pitfalls that you see in social media? I know in the beginning you mentioned you're nor here nor there, you can sometimes see the pitfalls in it. Is there anything that you would kind of change about any of the platforms, like maybe mainly Instagram and TikTok, that you would see as a problem or change?
I think going off of when we were emailing, when you discussed an idolized beauty, I think that was such an important sort of like a highlight of social media. And I think that the idolized beauty has changed a little bit, but it needs to change even further.
It's definitely being pushed, in my opinion, it's definitely being pushed in the right direction with inclusivity, and especially for fashion too, sustainability. But we're not there yet. We're not, because so many, even of my friends and myself, you see someone and you're like, oh, like I wish I looked like that, or I wish my pictures came out to this degree. And editing is huge. So, you are gonna edit that pimple off your face. You're gonna edit that weird thing on your leg. Like, you're gonna do it because it's so easily to do. And the people, and like showcasing that, especially now, I love it that we're going into video, because you can't really edit much on reels or whatever, because that's a video. Like how, at least I haven't learned that yet. So,
I have not either.
So it is crazy. So what are your kind of suggestions about the whole body ideals?
I mean, because social media is so subjective, and I think that, because it's so subjective, it's not that real. I think that if you want to make it as a content creator, or you want to make it on social media, I mean, no one's you. So that's your power right there. But also remembering that things aren't always how it seems on the internet.
Yes, that is what I try to tell everybody. I love that you brought that up, because there's so much that happens behind the scenes.
Yes.
You're not going to post a breakup that you just went through. You're not going to post something, you crashed your car in the morning. Like, you're not going to post those kind of things. So you really do have to remember that.
It's a highlight reel. Yes. It's literally, the fact that Instagram does have a highlight reel is it's kind
highlight reel on top of a highlight reel.
It's kind of funny. It's basically highlight.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. And especially with the younger generations growing up in the the biggest social media boom. Oh my goodness, I feel for them.
Yeah.
But
because you probably feel like you do have to meet those even body ideals and lifestyle ideals, like how people are living, what they eat for breakfast, what the car they drive, like all those things are being pushed upon us. And for even younger people, I definitely feel for them too, because I'm like, it's only gonna get bigger and more pressure.
Worse.
And
I saw someone post on Instagram saying that then sometimes when they watch people's morning routines or their day-to-day life, that they feel unmotivated and
bad that they didn't do that exact same thing themselves.
Awful. Like, I can't imagine being 14 and looking at Instagram the way I look at it now.
Oh my gosh.
And not having my brain be fully developed and be fully matured, and having to endure that. It's awful.
So much pressure. Like, I really hope we kind of make or put it into more of like what I learned from doing these podcasts, which I'm so grateful for, is social media is huge and it is how you showcase yourself. But even you mentioning authenticity, like no one's ever going to be the prettiest person in the entire world because there's so many beautiful people out there.
Yes.
But if you're just yourself and you're fully showcasing yourself, you're the only person that is exactly you. So why would you not push that? So make your Instagram a journal of your life. Make it more so like, I used to look at every picture and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't post this because it's not perfect. Like I can do better. But now I'm going, and I'm not there yet, but I'm transitioning into the fact of like, yes, I had such this amazing day. I have these pictures with my friends. I don't look the best I've ever looked in my entire life, but I want to remember this. And this was a great day. I want to remember this and I want to showcase it because this is my life, you know? Exactly. And I really do hope we go away from the perfect person to more so, this is my life. Like, join me on my journey. Really.
I hope so. Even with Instagram, we had like these still shots of like, whether it's a selfie or an ideal version of whatever you're putting up. And then we're kind of like moving into TikTok, which is a little bit more day-to-day behind the scenes. Yeah. So hopefully we are moving in the right direction.
I hope so, and I think so, especially with the whole inclusivity and sustainability and all that kind of stuff. I definitely see it, but let's keep going. Let's keep pushing us into that direction. I love that Radford does stand for that and cares about that too. So I know we are kind of running out of limited time, but I want to end with the last question of just, do you have any tips if people are trying to take Instagram and social media seriously, or maybe they do want to be a social media manager like yourself? Do you have any tips for them, any takeaways that could help the audience if they're thinking kind of that direction?
I would say find one thing that you're good at, because everyone is good at something.
Yes.
And go with it, run with it, whether it's trying to meet people to get into that space or that industry, or again, just
put yourself
be yourself
out there.
Yeah, like again, no one's you, so that's your power, so you can use it.
Yep, use it. Well, thank you so much, Marissa, for all your information and perspectives. I hope everyone took something from this episode. I'm going to finish with the quote I found to motivate everyone. Old ways won't open new doors. Thank you so much for listening, and make sure to write any future questions or topics you want to hear about, and follow the good, the bad, and the future on Instagram. See you next Sunday to talk about professionals within the social media industry and where it is headed with social media manager Kaylin Hines. Thank you so much.